Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode we are talking about, once again, Lyrilusc Tri-Brigade, my favorite deck of all time, and with the new meta around the corner, or well, currently in full swing, how well does this deck stack up? So, let's quickly do the card by card and the analysis. Yeah, we all know Bared Up. At least if you know me, you should know this deck, and Lyrilusc Tri-Brigade is, still very strong. I will admit that I genuinely think this deck is very underrated, and yeah, that's basically it. So yeah, let's quickly do the card by card. Starting off with the Lyrilusc half of the deck, we are playing 3 newly unlimited 3 Cobalt Sparrow. It feels so nice. I don't think I've played this deck since the Unlimit, and yeah, it doesn't actually matter. I'm not gonna lie to you. Having 2 versus 3, like, genuinely doesn't change it anything in terms of the feel of the deck. Sure, mathematically it's going to change stuff, but realistically it really doesn't feel like much changes. Then we have 2 Sapphire Swallow, we have 3 Turquoise Warbler, as well as 2 Barrel Canary, and 1 Celeste Wagtail. Pretty much a bare bones number of Lyriluscs. As we're also running the Triple Bird Call as well, pretty standard, and then of course a 1-for-1. This card is absolutely crazy, being able to summon it out, and most notably special summon things like Cobalt Sparrow or Celeste Wagtail, or even Nerval, which is crazy as well. You could also potentially summon a Turquoise Warbler, or a Sapphire Swallow, or what have you, but, you know. Anyway, that's it for the Lyrilusc in the main deck. Moving on to the Tri-Brigades, we're playing 3 Nerval, 1 apiece of Karos and Kit, and then 3 Fractal, as well as a Tenki to search him out. Fractal happens to be very nice, synergizing with the Lyriluscs, being able to dump things like Cobalt Sparrow, or even a Celeste Wagtail into the grave, if need be, for the follow-up of Turquoise Warbler, special summon it to special summon another guy. So that's pretty nice. Also, of course, you know, dumping Kit, dump Nerval, search out guy, you know the drill. Anyway, and that's basically it for the engine pieces. Sorry, tripping over my words. But yeah, that's it for the Lyrilusc and the Tri-Brigade. Moving on, we have 1 DD Crow, which is a search target for Celeste, or Recital Starling, which is just kind of like another interaction, kind of. We're playing 2 Droll, as well as 2 Maxi. This may seem kind of weird, but honestly, Droll is a little bit better in the current format, so I wanted to play 2. Maxi's not bad, don't get me wrong, but with everyone running outs, not as many people are running outs to Droll and Lockbird, and it kills just as many decks, or entirely stops their turns, as you would expect. So, there's that. Anyway, we're also playing, of course, Triple Maxi and Double Called By to deal with the Maxi Menace himself. Then we are playing 2 Triple Tactics Talents as well, just as a decently good card. This card is pretty nice. It allows you to go second pretty effectively as well, which is, again, pretty nice. And then we're playing 3 Droplet. Now, this is a card that I haven't always played in this list, and because realistically it's not all that great all of the time. However, right now with the build, with a big build-a-board type of strategy that most decks are implementing at the current moment, besides a very select few, I feel like Droplet is in a pretty good spot right now, and it does synergize very well with this deck, but in most metas it's not really that great, but this happens to be one of them, so yeah, of course I'm going to play Droplet. Moving on to the extra deck, I don't think anything realistically has changed since my last list. It's a pretty set in stone extra. There's like 1 or 2 cards you could change, those being Apollosa and Access Code Talker. You could change these for things like a Shureg or a Lightheart or something like that, but the rest of the extra deck is pretty much set in stone, starting with the Xyz, that being 1 Utopic Future and 1 Utopic Draco Future to be made off of 2 Recital Starlings, which of course we're playing 2 of as well. We're also playing 1 Assembled Nightingale to go into Zeus, as well as the Downard to get that extra material onto it, and then 1 Ensemble Blue to round out our end board. As for the Link monsters, we're playing 1 Elmirage just in case we brick, and we have the ability to at least get something into rotation, like drawing multiple normal summons and stuff like that. It allows us to go into quite a lot. So yeah, we're of course playing the 1 Elmirage. We're playing 1 DDL, just as, again, another part of our end board. It's very nice if you draw like a Tri-Brigade-centric hand to have the DDL for a more Link-centric hand or board. We're also playing the 1 Ferrigite. We're also playing 1 Simorgh Bird of Sovereignty to add the Apex Avian during the end phase, which is very, very strong, and it gives target protection for all your winged beasts, which is well, at least the ones that are targeted or under it in its link zones, which is very, very strong. Being able to give target protection to things like Ensemble Blue or Assembled Nightingale or whatever it may be, and most notably Apex Avian. So there's that. We also have Appaloosa and Access Code, which I mentioned previously, and then one Shureg. So yeah, that's it for the list. Let's hop into the replay and show you how this deck performed. Alright, so here we are going first with a pretty decent hand, but let's see what we can do. We're going to start off here with Special Summon Turquoise Warbler, and then Normal Summon the Nerval in order to go into Recital. We're going to detach the Nerval so that if the Imperm comes down, we at the very least get the search off of Nerval. So I'm feeling pretty decent. Like, okay, cool, we're going to get the search. We grab Karos, pitch Kit, etc., etc. You know the drill. Except for Ash Blossom shows up, and I'm like, well, you know, it's Ash Blossom, Droplet, and a Dream, which isn't terrible. But they do have 4 cards in hand. My opponent's going to go for the Planet Pathfinder, activate its effect, and I'm like, cool. This could be Numeron, so I don't decide to Ash here, even though, yeah, maybe it would have been better. But yeah, out comes the Wraith South. I'm obviously going to Ash that. And my opponent doesn't have anything there, so feeling pretty good. But my opponent is going to activate Scareclaw Cash, banishing from the hand the Rise Heart, which is kind of interesting. But as they go to the battle phase, before they can actually attack, I'm going to activate Droplets so that they can't actually attack with their defense position monster. But then Kit gets to send Nerval. Nerval grabs up our Fractal, and at this point, since they can't attack in defense position, we have Recital Starling to get a search as well on our field, which is very nice. And I draw 1-for-1, which is just the icing on the cake. We grab up the Barrel Canary here because we do have, I believe, a... Oh, well, I mean, we don't really have much, but out comes another Imperm, and I'm like, cool, that's totally fine. Mostly because I kind of figured it was an Imperm. If they're going to have a set card, it's going to be like one of 2 things. Either Imperm or the Kashtira Trap. Either way, might as well play around the Imperm. We go for the 1-for-1 here, grab Cobalt Sparrow, link off into the Ferrigite, and Special Summon the Nerval, which we grabbed off of Cobalt Sparrow. We're then going to go for the Nerval here, banish 4 in order to grab up our Shureg. Shureg effect is going to banish the Scareclaw, and at this point, again, the game is basically over. I'm going to go for the Recital Starling here. We're going to make our Shureg nice and large. Then we're going to detach, grab up Sapphire Swallow, activate the Nerval, grab up Karos, and this is actually lethal with the Karos effect here. So I just... oh, sorry, I have to actually activate the effect and make the DDL, and now it's lethal. I could have also made Access Code there, just link off all of these guys and make Access Code on top of all of that. There's lots of other stuff that I could have done as well, but there you go. Cool. Good game. Alright, and here we are once again going first, and, well, if I get ashed, I probably have to cry. So we're going to grab up the Fractal here, activate the Fractal, send Kit, send Nerval, and Nerval add back the Fractal. I'm going to normal summon the Fractal here and banish 2, to which my opponent will Maxi me, and I will Ash Blossom, yada yada. Cool, Maxi is a fun card. We go for the Ferrigite, special summon out the Cobalt Sparrow, and grab the Barrel Canary. Here we can make the Bird of Sovereignty some morph, and then we can actually activate our Ferrigite, which grabs Bird Call, which is actually pretty nice here. But we are going to grab up our Cobalt Sparrow once again to go for the Recital Starling. Now, Recital Starling has an actual effect when it is summoned, where you can actually target a face-up monster on the field and have it gain attack and defense equal to this card's material, which is very funny. So yeah, that actually makes our Samorg even bigger. We're going to grab up the Turquoise Warbler, and then we are going to add it to our hand the Celeste Wagtail off of the Bird Call, and special summon out the Turquoise Warbler, which will then special summon out the Celeste Wagtail and grab another Bird Call. Pretty nice. Now we can go for another Recital Starling and activate its effect in order to make our Samorg even larger. Here we grab up the DD Crow, since I already have follow-up with the Bird Call, and then we can exi into the Utopic Future, and then Utopic Draco Future as well. Pretty strong there. And then at the end of the turn, we are going to activate the effect of our Samorph, and set up Zone for Mech Knight, but no, it's fine. We grab the Apex Avian, to the which my opponent will promptly Lava Golem me, and alright, super heavy, kind of interesting. I don't know why we're on Lava Golem, but sure. And then they activate Small World and Reveal of Valence. What in the 9 levels of hell is this? I have no idea, but let's find out. So my opponent is going to grab up the Valence Ninja. I'm like, okay. I mean, obviously it's just super heavy valence, but it's still very funny. Anyway, we end up activating Droll. It resolves. Fantastic. They're going to special summon out another guy. They're going to go for the Link 2 of the Heavy Metal Foe's Electromite. Electromite is going to activate its effect, attaching, yada yada. Grab up this guy, pop a card. They can't draw a card because of Droll, so they're going to activate the effect here. Now they have the ability to Pendulum Summon, so they Pendulum Summon out the Wakaushi, and then just make Baron. And at this point, I'm very confused as to what our answer is to the just big bird. It's just a big bird that's untargetable. So, yeah, at this point, I'm pretty sure that the game is basically over. I go to battle phase, I walk up to the Baron. There's not really a whole lot more that they can do, and then I go for the Fractal and get full combo once again. And we still have the Bird Call as additional follow-up. Now, it's not, like, insane, but we still have Onsum Blue. We have access to Zeus if we need to. We have DDL. We have Appaloosa. We have access code. We have Shuriken. I'm feeling fairly confident. Now, they are going to scale up their Wakaushi and then realize they do not have an out to the Big Glad and just concede. Good game. Alright, so here we are going second, and I have a choice between Maxi and Droll. So, who knows? Well, okay, it's Vanquish Soul. Of course, I'm going to activate the Maxi instead of Droll. Droll doesn't really do anything here, but, you know, he's there. Anyway, my opponent is going to search up the Heavy Border, because, of course, they always have the Raisin, and they're going to try and special summon out that guy, into which I will activate the Maxi. Cool, fun. Draw a Karos. Not bad. Reveal a card. Draw a card. Fantastic. Blink off. Rock the Vanquisher. Activate the effect of the Rock the Vanquisher. Add back the card. I draw a Fractal. Again, pretty decent. This hand is actually just all gas, so I'm not really worried about the minor inconveniences that my opponent is about to give me. And then I draw Ash for turn, and I'm like, oh, cool, they had a Maxi of their own? Great. Well, now I don't have to deal with it, so cool. Now, to be fair, I could have also just, like, Drolled after they drew a card, and then just go, like, I don't know, Zeus, I guess, which wouldn't have been terrible. But they actually summon out the Raisin here, and I'm like, we are very hopeful, aren't we? They put it in this zone as if it's going to do something. I would have put it here. Cut off links. Makes it pretty annoying, but sure. Anyway, to grab up Caesar Valius, I'm going to grab up my Nerval off of the Cobalt Sparrow. My opponent is obviously going to immediately destroy my Turquoise Warbler, because I still have not normaled, and I just searched another level 1. I mean, they did also just add a card, so, you know, there's that. They're going to draw another card, sure. I'm going to activate the Fractal, to which my opponent will Ash. I believe they drew that for turn. Maybe not, or I drew it off the Heavy Border, don't know, but not really that big of a deal, because now we get to go for the 1-for-1, and I actually pitched Nerval here. I could have just pitched Droll, it's not going to do anything, but might as well just pitch Nerval. Nerval effect, grab up a card, Celeste Wagtail effect, which we summoned off of the 1-for-1, and grab up the Bird Call, which we haven't activated this turn, so that's also pretty decent. First off, though, I am going to go for the Recital Starling. I'm like, okay, obviously what they're going to do is they're going to summon out the Caesar Valius. They're going to go Caesar Valius, pop a card, and then they don't. And so, now, to be fair, they might not actually have the material to pop a card with Caesar Valius, but I'm like, I mean, you got to do something, right? Anyway, Nerval effect to activate, banish 4, out comes Shurag. The game's over, right? The game is well and truly over. I gotta banish this guy non-target, and yeah, cool. Now I just OTK you through nothing? Cool. Yeah, good game. Alright, here we are, once again, going first, and well, this hand is pretty much Lyrilusc all the way, but it's incredibly strong. And notably, the Lyrilusc half of the engine can get to the Tri-Brigade half, and vice versa as well. Well, to a lesser extent, but anyway. We summon out the, what is it, Turquoise Warbler to grab the Cobalt Sparrow, which is just the best start you can have. Anyway, we're going to go for the Recital Starling, grab up Celeste Wagtail. I go for the Sapphire Swallow, special summoning out the Nerval. We're going to go for the second Recital Starling. Recital Starling, detach the Nerval, grab up Barrel Canary. Now, I could have grabbed the DD Crow off of any of these, but I just decided not to. So we're going to go for the Karos here. Xyz into Utopic Future, and this is basically your Nibiru insurance. If you can do something like this, and then your opponent has to Nibiru there, otherwise it just gets negated, so that's pretty nice. And I haven't used my normal, so I'm going to normal summon the Karos, we're going to banish 2, and go for the Ferrigide. Now, I could have technically pitched a card instead. I could have, like, pitched the Celeste Wagtail or something like that instead of normal summoning Karos, and then it would have been in defense, which would have been nice. But we're going to grab the Bird Call here, and then link off into the Simorgh. So we do that, we activate, draw a card, put it right back. I'd rather have the triple tack for additional follow-up. But now we're going to target the Sapphire Swallow in the grave with our Barrel Canary, which locks us into Xyz. But now the Ensemble gets 4 materials. The 2 already attached to it, the 1 off of the Sapphire Swallow effect, and then Celeste Wagtail has an effect in the grave to attach itself as material, which now is 4 possible bounces, which is pretty nice. And then we end with the Apex Avian, Droll in hand, Bird Call as follow-up, and a triple tack just in case. My opponent is going to start with Regained, and then reveal that they're on Black Wings, which is already a trip. So now, obviously, I could, like, Apex Avian this. This feels like bait to me, so I'm just not gonna bite. I'm like, cool, yeah, you do your thing. I have Droll, so they're gonna get their searches, and here's the thing. I want to make this so poignant. This person, this player right here, Titro, played so unbelievably slow. That is the only reason why I am making this replay. This is not really that interesting of a replay, but I just had to point out that this person played incredibly slow, and there's not that much to think about. Okay, there kind of is, but it's very clearly a maliciously slow, and not a I am thinking kind of slow. I can tell the difference when you sit there and think for 10 hours about Black Whirlwind's search. Why? How? What is taking you so long? I legit, like, watched half of a YouTube video by the time it took them to take their turn. It was very long and arduous. Anyway, they added Chinook, which is very funny because it can only target the Utopic, so I'm just gonna negate it. I'd rather have my effects so that I'm not destroyed by battle or card effect. That sounds not fun. Anyway, they're gonna normal summon the Sudri and then activate Druis Worm. And, no. Just, no. Goodbye. Goodbye. Go back to hand. No, no, no. Anyway, they're gonna go to battle, walk over my field, and I'm like, that's totally fine. I actually grab the Sapphire Swallow here because I'm like, well, I have Bird Call, and, you know, Simorgh can do something during the end phase, to, like, a special summon, like a Cobalt Sparrow or something like that. And I'm feeling pretty good. My opponent is going to Link 2, or what I would assume, but because Chaos Angel is a stupid card that doesn't require a tuner, but yet is a Synchro Monster, we end up in this situation. So my opponent is going to attempt to banish, to the which I will just promptly negate. I don't know why this isn't just like a Link 2. That requires like 10 levels or something like that. Like, this could just be a Link 2. I don't know why it has to be a Synchro Monster, but it's whatever. I guess because you can technically make it with Synchros. Whatever. Anyway, not that big of a deal. During the end phase, we special summoned back the Apex Avian. My opponent's going to special summon the Druis Worm, because reasons, I don't know, sure, whatever, dude. They're gonna go for the Regained effect here, but I'm gonna search first, I'm going to activate my effect first. So Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, put a card back, Cobalt Sparrow, grab up Nerval, yada yada. They, of course, have the Maxi, which is adorable, because I'm just gonna negate that, like, obviously. Of course I'm just gonna negate that. I have him for a reason. Now, I do actually do something mean, because of how slowly my opponent has been playing. I take a card out of their hand first, which is Sudri, which is very funny. So I'm going to shuffle that away, but I do a second mean thing. It's not actually all that mean, but it's kind of. So, I'm almost certain my opponent is unaware of the fact that Simorgh protects from target. I'm not entirely certain that they know this, so just in case, I'm going to spell it out clear as day for them. I'm going to make Shureg, I'm going to banish the back row. I'm going to switch this guy to attack, and I'm going to go, cool, you have 2 options. You want to send the Nerval to the grave? Obviously they're not, and I'm just going to attack them multiple times. Yeah. Blackwing players, am I right? Anyway, this wasn't a good game. Alright, we're back with the deck, and honestly, yeah, the deck's still really strong. I think I went 7 and 4, which is pretty decent. especially since I lost so many coin flips. The few games that I lost were just hard, like, maxi counters with, like, Branded going first and stuff like that, or Manadimian going first and me not really having the best of hands. And stuff like that. So it was a bunch of stuff like that that really wasn't in my favor. But even going second, I felt like this deck did exceptional. And again, I feel like this is a very slept-on deck. Having the ability to play as many hand traps as it does, while being able to even search out hand traps through an optimal combo, is very advantageous. On top of that, stopping it at many different points can be basically useless, right? Depending on how their hand looks, it depends on how you want to hand trap them, which makes it very difficult to actually interact with them in a favorable way, unless the opponent just, you know, fires things and you just brick, you know? Which, to be fair, this deck does have a lot of dead hands because of things like Apex Avian, the you know, 3 Cobalt Sparrow, which, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of wanted to play 2 at some point. Definitely not worth it, but, you know, it's not all gas, as opposed to something like Tri-Brigade Zodiac, or, I don't know, like, Ishizu tier or something like that, you know? But even with all of that being said, the deck is still in a very good spot. Do I think it's the best deck? No. Do I think it's underrated? Absolutely. I think it's definitely a deck that more people should be considering, but just Tri-Brigade in general is still very strong. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you guys did indeed enjoy. If you did, I like this very much, so appreciate it. And if you want to check out more content like this, as well as more Yu-Gi-Oh!, then just be sure to subscribe. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye. Shout out to the Frost Guard, my members. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I hope you enjoy the content.